Welcome to my YouTube channel, Manamini Nalumi Mental Health with Anne. Today, in the Real Life Hero section, I have with me Quentin Pipestem, a very special guest. He is an Indigenous hope dancer who has won several awards around the world for his amazing art. Join me in conversation with Quentin Pipestem to understand his path and his journey so far. மனமேனி நலமே நேர்களுக்கு வணக்கம். எல்லாரும் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கீங்கன்னு நம்புகிறேங்க. என் கூட நம்ம ரியல் லைஃப் ஹீரோ செக்ஷனில் இருக்கிறவர் பேர் குவென்டின் பைப்ஸ்டம். இவர் ஒரு இண்டிஜினஸ் ஹூப் டான்சர். இவரோட கலை உலக ஃபுல்லாக இவருக்கு பல அவார்ட்ஸை வாங்கி கொடுத்துருக்கு. வாங்க இவர் கூட பேசி அவரோட வாழ்க்கை பயணத்தை பற்றி நம்ம தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாம். Share a little bit about your journey of becoming sober. What helped you in that part and what helps you sustain being sober?
Okay, yes. I guess I mentioned that earlier when I said when I came home, I had to reground myself. And part of that was embracing sobriety. And for a major part of my life, starting at an early age and, then working as a performer, then actually becoming, I don't want to say famous, but become well known for what I do. That being on stage all the time, it really was I guess you can say a rock and roll lifestyle. And that was, traveling, always being on stage, being a performer. And so it really was a big part of my life. And throughout the years, it escalated, and it got to a point where I was still performing, and I was what you call those functioning alcoholics. So it wasn't that something that affected my dancing or my performing, but I could still go out and do what I do, and which was actually amazed quite a few people that I could do that. So that's just like I just want to explain a bit of the history of that, and then. And then it got to a point where I had to make a decision for myself. If I more or less like a crossroads, if I had still had that opportunity to change my life. And if I passed on that opportunity, then if I continued as on the path of alcoholism, then that's not a good path, everything from health wise to difficulties. So then so I decided to change that way and embrace a sober lifestyle, which wasn't easy considering for so many years I was it was part of my lifestyle. But yet like I said, I realized I wanted a better future for myself. And so there's a lot that goes into it, though. It doesn't sound that simple. There's a lot of other reasons, factors why I chose that path. But yes, I can say that now it's going on to 7 years now of complete sobriety. And I've never felt better about my life, even though of all the amazing, cool things I've seen in my life, which is plenty. Right now, living a sober life has been the greatest experience of my life, and so
And I believe you help people. Right now, what do you do? My understanding is you help people in your community. In what ways are you helping people?
Oh, well, one of the things is that right now I work my full-time job at the moment is I am an outreach peer support working with the program on the nation, which is called a wraparound program. It's under a healthy living department on our nation. And our wraparound outreach program, we assist nation members that are going through issues with addictions, and would like to, they reach out for us for help to help them, get on the a healthier path, a sober path. And so we do stuff. We help them with getting into detox, into treatment centers, and then we work with them on their aftercare plans when they come out.
Mhm.
So that is the work I'm currently doing right now, and through my lived experience, like I didn't go to school or any formal education for this. The the best education was the lived experience, and working on nation, that's where you can really relate with the people that you grew up with, and they can relate with you, and they see, I guess, lead by example. They see, that yes, I was there once, and I did choose to change for a better change for myself. And
Yeah.
so those lived experiences is what really helps the work that I do, and it helps in our work does help a lot of our people. And even we do help not just Sut-Ina, but we do help other First Nations that that are not Sut-Ina, but we can. Our program is geared towards all that we can help through our resources and our referrals, and we do outreach within the city of Calgary. So we go on the streets and we give out harm reduction. We do basic needs and connect people with the different other outreach organizations that are in the city. So we're out on the street a lot and talking with the more vulnerable populations, and just letting them know that that there's people out there that that care for them still, and then always, of course, on the lookout for our own people, our own Sut-Ina. Hopefully reconnect them with the nation, with their families once again. That was always our goal.
Yeah.
So that's how I help. And then there's still the hoop dance aspect of my life, which is also a um uh it is still something that I'm well known for, and people still look up to me as a performer, and I try to share that with the younger generations. I've starting up um a youth hoop dance troupe. So trying to, teach other, young, Native First Nation hoop dancing, and sharing them, some of my skills with them, and hopefully to be able to work towards getting them on stage, because for me, performing is something that is as a it's something that helps that person who is, let's say, maybe shy or introverted. It's a way for them to express themselves and to be more confident with themselves, and also it gives them a passion, something like, hopefully they find the same passion I had.
Yeah.
And so in these ways, these things too, I really hope to benefit my community with my experiences in this way.
Okay, wow, that is so amazing. Your work is so meaningful, Quentin, and thank you for doing what you do. I think we need more people. We know the extent, right, of the healing and recovery that has to happen within our communities, and the work that you do is so meaningful. I think especially because, as you said, you've walked the walk. You know what it is to be in that person's place. So I think when you reach out and when you work with them, I'm sure you resonate much more, and the impact is much more meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that connection that um not just, it's empathy, but it's more than that. It's compassion, um and just telling somebody, I mean, just letting them know that we're not there to tell them you have to do this or you need to do this, because you get, people that are in this way through their whatever addiction they may have, they hear that all their lives. But then
Absolutely.
we let them know that no, we're not here to do that. But we are here when you do decide that you want to do that, then we're here. And so trying to meet them where they're at is always our goal. And that is like a key thing, is to meet them where they're at, and try not to look down upon them or judge them. Definitely, we don't do that. And in this way, it does, yeah, we do make a more meaningful connection. And sometimes it's those connections that really, make a difference in helping somebody. And it's just, yeah. So, yeah, it's something that I do enjoy the work that I do now.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's the purpose, right? For your life and the experiences you've had. I think it's really accumulated now and it's serving its purpose. Sounds like that to me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Quentin. So I came to Canada now coming up 9 years, right? And when I came to Canada as a settler, I'm a settler. You are the first people of this land, right? And often, till today, I don't think we honor the First Nations people enough. And when I came in 2013, one of the first things that I heard about the people of these lands were myths, stereotypes, not through information. And it was out in the general community till I did my own work of learning. So, what would you tell me about the stereotypes that First Nation people face even today? And yeah, and how do we work on that?
Oh, well, the stereotypes from North America, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, I say North America because in Europe and around the world, there's other types of stereotypes, but which are more positive in a way, but stereotypical. And then in North America, closer to home, there are stereotypes which are more negative towards the native people. And some of these are like, drunken, lazy, these sort of stereotypes. And that is, I guess, what people do see, and I can understand, there is that more visible aspect of what the non-native people see, like in the cities, what they see, that's closer to their home or their, way of life. And they do see this, just we do have, yes, we do have problem, we do have people that do, have alcoholism problems, and then they're on the street, and that's what they witness. And so unfortunately, they kind of generalize all native people and what they see, only the small aspect of what they see from our people. What they don't see is the really strong and vibrant culture that has survived genocide, that has survived, all the hardships from losing our old way of life, losing our land, all those hardships that we went through, and how the resilience of our people, our culture, is alive and very strong today. And that's what the general population don't really see. They only see the bad side. What is the more visible side that's, around them?
Mhm.
And unfortunately, they don't, um, like you say, they educate themselves on it. So that's their typical side, that that they don't see the full picture of who we really are, and how strong our culture is, and how, what, our beliefs are still guide, the majority of First Nations people. And yeah, we do have a high majority of people that are still, suffering from addiction issues, which, I can say I've been there too. So it's a little experience. I know that. Um, and then even on that side, there's some understanding to the origin of this way of life. And I mean, a lot of it now is coming up more in the last, few years, actually, with the residential schools, this, finding the unmarked graves. And see, in the past, we've always said this is the reason why our societies were so damaged, because of what happened in the residential schools, how it destroyed families, destroyed, ways of life. But in the past, it was always like, oh, yeah, okay, it was just, just words. But with the right, with recently, when they found the grave sites, then people are starting to kind of like click now. Oh, maybe what they were saying is true, and which is true, but what has happened. So there is a bit more understanding. but
Mhm.
it's far away from reconciliation yet.
Mhm.
Um, but there is the attempt, and so for me, as always, I always look at the one step at a time approach. It takes that one step to begin, so everything can't just happen, like that. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
That is very true, Quentin. And I think what you're also speaking to is that intergenerational trauma, right? And as you said, it is going to take a while because trauma does get passed over through the body, which we don't often think about. And I think, and my understanding is within the field of social work, we educate and keep re-educating each other, but I think that awareness has to spread out into the larger community, right? Like to all peoples, all walks of life within Canada, Calgary. So then everyone has the shared understanding of who the native First Nation people are and what their history was and why they continue to go through what they are going through and what is each one of us's responsibility towards that, right? So,
yeah, it's a matter of just mutual respect, and I believe, a mutual respect for, I believe in traveling. Part of my, my lived experience has been traveling around the world,
yeah.
is learning about other cultures and, respecting, other cultures and other ways, and not imposing my ways, my beliefs on somebody else, or saying they're wrong or I'm right. And that's would be, just, it sounds basic, but it is, that can be that simple. And on the other hand, I also believe that our own community also has to embrace this reconciliation amongst themselves. And yes, the intergenerational trauma,
Mhm.
it's something that needs to be healed. It's something, there's no easy immediate fix. And if
Mhm.
anything, it's going to take generations to try and
Mhm.
heal it. So,
Yeah,
but it is like, hopefully through each generation it will get better.
better.
And then the next generation after will even be a bit better. So it's something that for as First Nations people, like speaking to, let's say our own people, then, it's something that we have to realize and start taking those little steps for themselves as individuals to better their lives. And through that process, hopefully the intergenerational trauma will be not so intergenerational anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. I think what you're referring to is breaking that cycle of trauma, right?
Yeah,
Like,
basically this.
yeah, if we are intentional and deliberate, I think as individuals within the community, and I think people from other communities within the larger community can also play a key role. Hearing that you are hopeful about truth and reconciliation, is that correct? Just want to hear this.
Yeah,